Alright, so today I want to make a video about this DDX6705S. I want to talk about crossovers, we'll talk about time alignment, kind of show you how to use it. So first what we're going to do is we're going to go into our menu here. We're going to go to audio. In your audio menu you're going to have crossovers, equalizers, position, fader, all that cool stuff. So first thing, sound effects, you really don't want to go in there. In here you're going to see all this bass boost crap. Basically all these things add distortion. They're for really underpowered systems. You really don't need that, in my opinion. Crossovers, very, very good way to protect your speakers. We have front, rear speakers, subwoofer channels. I'm going to do your front speakers here. We're going to check the crossover box. So on the front, we can choose what frequency we start to limit the bass at. And I'll show you kind of how it runs through. So to this up to about 80 is a good place to start, 6 decibel per octave. So this graph on the left, it represents, let's see if you can see this better. 100, 1K to 10K. So 100 on the bottom is your hertz. On the left is how loud it is, the decibels. The higher is louder. So if I do a 80 hertz crossover, 6 decibel, 12 decibel per octave slope, you can see right there it starts crossing it over 80 to 100. Now I can move this up to limit the amount of bass that comes through or move it down. Now this is mostly important because what you want to do is get your front speakers out of the way for your subwoofer. And I'm going to run my subwoofer crossover here at 180 or 80 hertz. You see there how they kind of overlap? That overlap is really going to help out with your bass as long as everything is in line. So the inline part's going to be over here. This is my funnest part. Position and DTA, digital time correction, whatever, time alignment. I'm going to go to adjust. This is the cool part. So now we can tell the stereo how loud each speaker or how far it is from the listener. Typically subwoofers, I'll start here. Subwoofers in my vehicle are about 10 feet from my listener. So you notice while I move this subwoofers further away, all the other milliseconds, which is this MS, changes. So I'll put the subs 10 feet away, and what that's going to do, it doesn't necessarily change the subs time alignment, but it changes time alignment on all the other speakers. So we're about 10 feet here. There you go, 10 feet. So by having the subs 10 feet away, we actually had to delay this front left speaker 6 milliseconds, front right around 4 milliseconds, and etc. What this does is it delays the speakers closest to you so that the sound hits your ears at all the same time. Now why this is important is so that you get your subwoofer to be in phase with the rest of your system. I talked about on these crossovers as far as keeping the subwoofers out of the way with this. So this keeps them from overlapping too much, but that little bit of overlap does help the sound as long as that the speakers are pushing and pulling at the exact same millisecond, which they're not going to, but when it hits your ears, as long as everything hits your ears at the same time, it's going to make it sound better. So that's pretty much just a walkthrough on these as a nutshell. Your equalizer here, it's best just to leave that at flat, but keep in mind with your subwoofer output, you do want to keep this relatively high because it's going to give you more voltage on the pre-outs for your amplifier. It's going to help it run a lot cooler. So typically my ears are a little sensitive. I would take 2500 and I'd scope that down a little bit. My ears are very sensitive from hearing damage. Something like that would probably be what I'd run in my car. Some people that don't have good amps might boost this up, take this down, go up a little there. Everyone's ears are different, so what we usually do, we'll start at nearly flat and listen to it from there. And depending on what your ears need, where they need extra, or if there's too much hurting your ears, you can always adjust accordingly. So anyway, let's do preset select for flat, put it back on flat. So that's basically in a nutshell this particular DDX6705. I really like the audio features in this deck. It's not a bad deck, it's not too terribly expensive, it's just all around good. All right, thanks guys. I'm going to go ahead and do another deck next.